In this video, we're going to take a look at a magenta ink by Diamine, a part of their 150th anniversary series, Burgundy Royale. Now, as always, there's timestamps down below so you can skip around, but if you've got the time, it really does help me out for you to check out the entire video. Also, down in the description are links to the magenta ink playlist, so if you'd like to see more of them, you can find that there. I'm an ink guy, and let's get into the first writing sample done on 90 GSM Clairfontaine. No bleeding, no ghosting. Now we have no feather, no spread, no halo, no sheen, great shading. Not in the stub, it's got a gorgeous dark tone, but in the extra fine, a ton of shading. In the medium, a ton of shading. It's just all over, standout, fantastic. The extra fine's a lot lighter than the stub, while the medium's darker than the extra fine, and yet a lot lighter than the stub still. Extra fine took 11 seconds to dry and the medium took 16. Our scrubby for both do show some color variation, and it is amazing in the writing. The smear test you could recover if you smeared while you were writing. To have a range of experience with this ink, all of the writing samples are done with a Jinhao 159 with a 1.1 stub, a Jinhao X450 with a medium, and a Jinhao X750 with an extra fine. Then a Pen BBS 456 with a 1.5 stub is inked up, used for a day, and used to take the notes for this video. The next writing sample is done on 52 GSM Tomoe River. No bleeding, but some ghosting is going on. We have no feather, spread, halo sheen. We do see shading going on in the extra fine, not in the stub or the medium. The extra fine's a lot lighter than the stub, while medium's darker than the extra fine and still just a little bit lighter than the stub. The extra fine took 18 seconds to dry and the medium took 24. Scrubby for both give us no color variation, but that would be a lie because we definitely get it in the extra fine. Smear test you could recover if you smeared while you were writing. I agree with Vita. There's a lot to learn by doing multiple chromatographies. The one on the left is done the way it's supposed to be done. A line of ink is put down and then it's put into water for 10 to 15 seconds. And we get this nice gray tone at the bottom, and you see how there is a little forming of a line. It is pushing rather uniform up. We get a dark magenta tone, but then at the very top, a very bright red. Quite interesting. The one on the right is let dry for 10 minutes, and the only noticeable difference between them is that grayish tone at the bottom is really bonding with the paper and looking like it might be a resistant color here. The next writing sample is done on 80 GSM Rhodia dot pad. No bleeding, no ghosting. We have no feathers, spread, halo sheen, and some very nice shading in that extra fine. It is fantastic there. No shading for the stub or medium though. The extra fine's a lot lighter than the stub, and the medium's only a little bit lighter than the stub. Extra fine took 13 seconds to dry and the medium took 17. Scrubby of the extra fine, far left to far right, does show a tiny bit of color variation, but it's better in the writing. Medium shows none where we got none, and a smear test you could definitely recover if you smeared while you were writing. Resistance tests are done to see how this ink can be expected to perform on a page, and more importantly, how hard it may be to clean from your pen. The smear is allowed to dry for 3 days before testing it. Looking at the highlighter, I do not use this in a note-taking situation. That's an extreme amount of blowout that's occurred on that capital H. I just don't want to lose anything important. Now, when water hit this, it did pull up most of the magenta and left a great deal of that gray, just like we saw in the chromatography. Pen Flush did everything that water did, nothing more. 1/3 bleach solutions completely removing it. Now, as expected with a Diamine ink, it only took water to get this out of my pen. The next writing sample is done on original Crown Mill paper. No bleeding, no ghosting. We have no feather, spread, halo sheen, no shade. We do get some tone variation. Same like we've had where the extra fine's a lot lighter than the stub and the medium's only a little bit lighter than the stub. The extra fine took 6 seconds to dry and the medium took 10. Scrubby for both give us no color variation. We're not getting it here. In the smear test, you probably could recover if you smeared while you were writing. For the inks tested, the average viscosity is 2.5, and the realm of normal is 2.1 to 2.9. Diamine's Burgundy Royale has a viscosity of 1.77, so it's a wet ink. Now, if you're interested in how the viscosity tests and all that's done, then down in the description is a link to that video. Now, let's take a look at black and red notebook paper. No bleeding, no ghosting. We get no feather, spread, halo sheen. We get little bits of shading through the extra fine. It shows up very nicely here. The extra fine's a lot lighter than the stub. The medium's about the same tone as the stub. Extra fine took 8 seconds to dry, while medium took 11. Scrubby for both give us no color variation, but it's definitely there in the extra fine. And the smear test you could probably recover if you smeared while you were writing. For the inks tested, the average dry time is 17 seconds, and the realm of normal is 13 to 21 seconds. Diamine's Burgundy Royale has an average dry time of 17 seconds, so that it's not just normal, but average. The last writing sample is done on lemon paper. This is not known to be a fountain pen friendly paper, so this spotting that is occurring through all of the writing is not the end of the world to me. I do notice that there's a lot less of it in the extra fine. None of this touches the page underneath, and I don't see this actually stopping most people from using the back of the page. We have no feather, no spread, no halo, no sheen, no shade, slight color variation. The extra fine's a bit lighter than the stub, while the medium's the same tone as the stub. Extra fine took 6 seconds to dry, and the medium took 9. Scrubby for both, no color variation. There is none, and the smear test you could definitely recover if you smeared while you were writing. Instead of finding inks that look like Diamine's 150th Anniversary Burgundy Royale, I'd prefer to find an ink that complements its color on the page. I decided to go with a blue-black ink by Cross, cleverly hidden in its name as blue-black. Now, if you'd prefer a different complement color, then down in the description are links to those playlists. So what do I think of Diamine's 150th Anniversary Burgundy Royale? I really like how much tone variation and shading this has. It's a really good alternative to red for me, but I forgot what I was gonna say at this point, so that's just what I write. Okay then. I hope you got something out of this video, and in the next video, we're gonna take a look at Platinum Blue.